Welcome back to Pancake FC, the YouTube channel named after the fantasy team named after my dog. Today, we are doing our MLS Fantasy Week 18 tier list. It is another double game week. Very exciting. I am for sure looking forward to it. What we're going to do today is pretty much go over the players I think you should take for the coming week and organize them into tiers. We're going to talk about the schedule for the coming week and a couple things you should look out for in the notes section. We will probably start there. But before we get into that, I do have to point out that I am, as always, joined. Actually, not technically joined by my partner in crime, Pancake, today. Just there's not a really good spot for her to be in this office, so she's actually in the other room. I'm just gonna film her doing whatever after, so FYI, the Pancake cam is not technically live to what I'm doing today, but I am joined by her in spirit, in a sense. But anyways, if you do enjoy the video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. For every person who does so, Pancake does get an extra treat, and thank y'all so much for all the support recently and continued viewership. I really enjoyed doing these videos, and I'm glad that a lot of y'all really enjoy watching them. Let's get into it. MLS Fantasy Week 18. A few notes. It is a double game week, which is super exciting. This coming week, there's MLS double game week. We've got Euro games, Copa America. It is a good week to be a fan. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm just going to flip through the games real quick first. We got Montreal and New York, Charlotte, Orlando, DC, Atlanta, Inter, and the Columbus Crew. Inter Miami, obviously. Toronto hosting Nashville. Cincinnati are hosting Philadelphia, who just lost to Miami and conceded a goal while Miami were two men down, which was really something. So definitely favoring Cincinnati right now in this matchup. Austin and Los Angeles FC. FC Dallas hosting Minnesota. Houston, Seattle, Sporting KC. Real Salt Lake, St. Louis hosting Colorado. LA Galaxy are hosting the New York City FC. San Jose are hosting the Portland Timbers, coming off of a bye week. They did not play this last week, but they do double this current week. Columbus Crew are hosting Sporting Kansas City for the second slate. Those games are on Saturday. DC hosting Houston, Cincinnati hosting the New England Revolution. That's the only game that New England play this week. New York are hosting Toronto. Orlando are hosting Chicago. Also, pretty sure the only game they're playing this week. Philadelphia hosting Charlotte. Minnesota, Austin, Nashville, and New York City FC. St. Louis, Atlanta, Colorado hosting Montreal. Salt Lake Galaxy, Los Angeles FC, San Jose Earthquakes, actually, that's not the Cali Classico, that's Galaxy and San Jose, but California derby of sorts. Portland are hosting Vancouver, and then Seattle are hosting Dallas. Pretty sure this is also the only game that Vancouver play this week. So teams that do have double home games only are DC United, have double home games only. I'm pretty sure Cincinnati have double home games, and then there should just be one other team. I believe it's St. Louis. So there's three teams that have double home games. I have it written down. St. Louis, DC, Cincinnati. Had it right. Double away games. I do believe Atlanta are a team that have double away games, and maybe New York City FC, have double away games. And there was probably a couple other teams, but we'll pick those up, notice them along the way as we go. Like I said, double game week, DC, St. Louis, Cincinnati, double home game weeks, and then the teams on a single are Miami, Chicago, New England, and Vancouver. So I wouldn't take anybody from Vancouver, New England, Chicago, or Miami, just because, you've got half the chance of getting points. You might as well, you should take double game week players only on a double game week, in my opinion. Injuries, I've bolded the ones that are fantasy relevant, and I do apologize if this isn't 100% accurate, but Ricky Puig is maybe still hurt, so he did not play yesterday. I'm recording this on Sunday. I don't know if it'll get out on Sunday or Monday, but he has some kind of groin problem. I would guess, actually, to be honest, the severity of the injury, I really don't know right now. I would think that he's going to play at least one of the games this coming week, but if he's not in the lineup on Wednesday, I'll tell you, I'm probably not going to take him, but Ricky Puig does have the questionable injury to the groin. Matt Miazga had a brutal collision with one of the posts. I think drew some blood too. He might be out for a while. Alex Roldan got hurt super early in the last game for Seattle, and Rusnak came off late with something going on. And then here are some of the other injuries. I got Celio Pompo too. I'll bolt him too. He's a decent fantasy option. Unfortunately for Celio, it's looking like a bad injury. Don't look up the clip. It's super nasty. His leg did not do the right thing. So it's really a bummer because he's been doing really well recently, but I think Celio's season is probably done. He's going to be out for quite some time for St. Louis. Suspensions, Ruiz from Inter Miami picked up the red card. Neiman from Minnesota got a red card late in that game. And then absences, these are all due to pretty much international duty. Miles Robinson, Copa America. Waterman just got called up to Canada, so he'll be gone. Lewis Morgan's at the Euros. Messi, Suarez, Copa America. Sean John also Copa America. Gazdag is with Hungary at the Euros. Saba Lobshanidze is with Georgia at the Euros. Giacomakis and Carranza are no longer in the league. They've both made transfers outside of the league, one to Mexico and then one to the Netherlands. Julio Cascante for Austin is at Copa America. Dane Sinclair, Copa America. Oluwaseyi, I think should still be with Canada at Copa America. And then Carrasquilla, even though he did play this week, should be gone for this coming week with Panama at Copa America. Sario and Bombito and Schaffelberg are all with Canada. That should pretty much get the housekeeping done. Let's go ahead and get into the tier list. So we're going to start with goalkeepers, work our way up from there. Oh, the pictures, wait, got a set of square images. No crop, please. There we go. Start with the goalkeepers, work our way up there. So we got Alex Bono for DC United, so they do have the double home game fixtures. I really like that. I've been leaning pretty heavily into the home week guys recently, and I think to good results. Atlanta looks terrible right now. I can't imagine they're gonna have a new coach this coming week ready. So I do like that matchup, and I do like the matchup against Houston kind of as well. Houston on the road have a pretty woeful XG. The only thing I'll say is DC's defense is super unreliable. No, these are the wrong way around. I do think their defense is super unreliable, even at home. But I would say that he's an okay option. I think he's maybe. Here, wait, I gotta get my tiers in order. I don't know if I said it right. So our tiers are going to be. No, this doesn't need to be S. I'm going to change this to great. So we got great, good, fun punt, maybe, and fade. That'll be our tiers for today. I think Bono's a fun punt just because he's on the double. Give him a whirl. Give him a whirl. We do have Roman Celentano as well. Probably a pretty good option this week. I do think Cincinnati, so they're going to be down Miles Robinson and Matt Miazga. Their defense is pretty solid, and they do have good depth at center back, but I still am really worried about that. Although Philly, have been really struggling recently. And then their second is hosting New England, who've been a little bit better, but mostly at home. So I think he is a good pick, but I will say I think Cincinnati are a little trappy this week. I think their defense is going to be a little bit trappy. So I'm not 100%. I almost want to stick him at maybe instead. I think I'm going to put him at maybe. Christian Colina, Charlotte do host the Orlando City, and then also go away to Philadelphia. Actually, I think of these three, I think I like Christian Colina the most. Those are two pretty solid matchups, and their defense has just been really solid lately. I like Colina. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's how I like it. Roman Berkey, maybe a good option. So St. Louis host Colorado. Colorado pretty solid, but St. Louis's home defense has been solid too. And then Atlanta, I'm going to say is a fun punt. Maybe a maybe. I do think Atlanta are probably good for a goal, and I think Colorado are probably good for a goal too. Honestly, I almost want to put them in fade. The double home fixtures are nice, but I think they concede in both games. Oh man, Atlanta are really bad on the road though. Can you tell I haven't thought about this ahead of time? Probably shouldn't be thinking about this as long as I am too. I'll stick them in maybe. We'll just stick them in maybe. I like the double home fixtures, and that's kind of about it. Let's get on to our defenders. Actually, I think I should have one more goalkeeper in here somewhere. Yeah, I got Hugo Lloris as well. I'm going to stick, I think, Hugo Lloris in fade. San Jose are always good for a goal, so I really don't think, and it's a derby game too, a rivalry game. Rivalry game defenders are fluky as heck. So I don't know about that for that second game. And then for their first game, they're going to Austin. Austin at home aren't as bad as they are away, but they're still not good, and they haven't been good of late at all. I'm going to say I bet a lot of people go with LAFC defenders and maybe even Lloris this week. I think that's really trappy. I'm not feeling that at all. I'm going to say fade Lloris. I don't like that pick. As for DeAndre Yedlin, probably stick with maybe. I feel about him probably the same way I feel about Roman Celentano. He does have a little bit of attacking upside. I do like that. Maya Yoshida, I'm going to say for sure fade. LA Galaxy's defense is one of the worst in the league, straight up, especially when it comes to keeping clean sheets. And New York City have been really solid recently. That's that first matchup. For the second game, they play... Do they not even double? No, they do. Oh, they have to go to Salt Lake? Yeah. Don't touch lag defenders this week. Don't like that at all. Aaron Herrera, I think I really like this week, to be honest. You do have a lot of attacking upside. Double home game fixture, I like that a bunch. Outside shot, some bonus points too. Attacking upside. He played for, I think, Guatemala this last week. I'm pretty sure they're going to be back this week. I like Herrera quite a bit this week. Who we got next? We got Brooks Lennon. Ugh. I thought Lennon was going to hit good this week and be back a little bit, and he absolutely did not. I think he only got 1 point. And Atlanta have double away games. One of them is against DC, though. I'll tell you what, Lennon did not get forward that well in this last game. He really didn't run the channel like you'd want him to. Maybe I was back on the Lennon trade, and maybe now I'm hopping right back off because Atlanta had to go to DC. Don't see a clean sheet there, and I don't see a clean sheet against St. Louis either. I'm gonna say fade Lennon. I don't like him this week. Kai Wagner, I might be bold and say fade as well. So Wagner should still put up some good bonus points, and as y'all know, I'm big on bonus points. So Charlotte don't have a great away attack, but they're getting better. Vargas and Abada are starting to click a little bit. Ajuman did not have his best game for Charlotte this weekend, but man, Philadelphia's defense is bad. They are bad, and they're not good at home either. And they got to go deal with Cincinnati. Oh, man. I like Wagner's bonus points no matter what. But I think there might just be better options this week. I'm going to say fade. I think he's maybe a little bit on the line between, maybe it's like a bench play or something. But, nah, in general, I don't think I'm feeling him this week. I do like Uridan, though, for Charlotte quite a bit. I actually think he's a good option. He got an assist this last week. I almost stuck him into my team. I thought about it. I wish I would have found a way to tinker him in, but it's all right. And this week, maybe this is the week I'm going to take him. For pretty much all the reasons I said, Kalina's a good pick. Plus, he's on some set pieces. Got a little bit of attacking upside. I for sure like that. You got some attacking upside with Thomas Totland, too, who's been pretty decent recently. I'll probably stick him as a fun punt. Double home games, you got a shot at like an assist or something. I'm down with that. Hector Herrera had a pretty decent week fantasy-wise. Excuse me. This last week, he got 5 points without an attacking return. Houston, let's see, they host Seattle, and then what's their other game? They go to DC. So Seattle game's tough. I'll stick him as maybe. I like the floor a lot, but I don't see the ceiling this week. I think that's what I'm going to say about him. Probably the same with Hani Mukhtar. If BJ you know what? So it kind of seems like BJ Callahan's going to be the next head coach for Nashville. I can't imagine, though, he would come like right now, though. It should be after Copa America. Once he comes, I like Nashville a lot more to get a good new manager bounce and be a lot more attacking, at least going off what we saw with BJ Callahan's time in charge of the USMNT. But I don't think he comes this week. Nashville Mukhtar's matchups to me are a little bit alluring. I kind of like them hosting New York. I like the way they match up, and I kind of don't mind them going to Toronto either. Toronto were terrible against Chicago this last week, and recently they've been pretty solid at home. I do not know what happened there at all. So I'm going to say Mukhtar's a maybe. If you want a differential play, you could go for it. I'll maybe stick Paintsel as a maybe as well. Galaxy they're hosting New York, and then do they play SKC the next game? No, they have to do that tough Salt Lake game. Yeah, Painsel's a maybe. He's been pretty good recently, but those lineups are kind of scary. I'm going to say fade Almada. I still like his floor. He got a 4 this last week, but the double away games are intimidating, and I think there's better options. This is probably the most players I've ever put in fade. I've got some strong opinions about this week, and I don't like Almada this week. Santi is probably a maybe play. He could get something against Nashville. That's definitely a possibility, and I think he could get something against LA, but I mostly really like Santi at home on that smaller field. Good for his bonus points. I'll stick him as a maybe. He's maybe more of a fun punt. He's been really good recently. Santi's having an outstanding season for New York City in general. He's kind of burned me once or twice when I've taken him this year, but for the most part, he's hit pretty good. So it's probably a fun punt. Costa's just, an elite player in this league. Just an unbelievable player. Take him every week. Evander, I'm not sure how I feel about Evander this week, to tell you the truth. I kind of like that San Jose matchup. I kind of like it. And their second game, they're hosting Vancouver. Kind of like it. I don't love either. I know Evander's been amazing this year, but he has been really outperforming his XG. Significantly outperforming his XG. And I'm actually kind of not sure how long that's going to continue for. I'm not a doubter in Evander. I'm a believer. But I can see his form dipping a little bit. I really can, and maybe I do think there are better options this week. I still think he's a really good pick until we really see some kind of drop off or inconsistency from Evander. I'm not gonna doubt him, but I'm a little bit cooler on him this week than I feel like I should be. But I still think he's a good pick. I'll tell you what, I think Leuven is a good pick too. Double home games. In both his games back playing full 90, he's gotten 5 points with no goal contributions. That's a great floor. He's super aggressive on free kicks. Been playing just really aggressive in general. Looked really sharp. I'm pretty high on Leuven right now, to tell you the truth. I'm a big time Leuven truther. I think he's a good pick this week. If Ricky Pooch plays, he's great. It's simple as that. I think he's the best player in the fantasy game. If he doesn't play, then, I'd stick him in fade, obviously. So, assuming he's going to play, which I hope he does, I think he's a great pick. And that's about how I feel. Bernardeschi, probably a fun punt this week. Toronto should be better this week with him back. That matchup away in New York is tough, though. That is a tough game. That first game is tough, too. But his home form is really good. He's probably a maybe. I don't think he's probably a little risky. I don't know if I necessarily see the upside. I do see the floor, but probably a maybe. Joveljic, probably a good pick this week. He's been really solid recently. I just realized I left Gabriel Peck off this list. Dang. If I'd remembered to add Peck, I would have also stuck him in good. I feel about the same way as him as I do Joveljic. He had an amazing week this last week. I like them both. They're still, we'll see if Peck's insane form continues. Then, maybe next week or the week after I'll say Peck's a better choice over Joveljic. But I still like them both about equally. So just pretend Peck's here and that I stuck him in good. Chicho Arango is great. He didn't have his best game against Montreal, but he still ended up with a 5 or 6. That's... for a forward, that's an elite floor. He's the only forward in the game, aside from Messi, that I'm super comfortable with starting. So I still think he's great. Benteke. Now, Benteke is a very controversial topic right now, and a hot topic item for this week. Look, I'm going to be controversial. I think he's a great pick this week. I really, really do. The thing with Benteke is you're either getting a 21 or a 2, and he plays 2 games. So they're hosting Atlanta. He should score that game. They're hosting Houston. He probably shouldn't score that game. So he's going to blank against Atlanta and score a hat trick on Houston. That's how it works with Christian Benteke. I just really think that one of these games he scores. I just do. I can't help myself. If I'm getting sucked into the Benteke trap again, so be it. I'm fine with it. I think he's really worth the risk this week. That being said, I wouldn't start him under any circumstance. Keep him on the bench. I'm saying he's great as a bench pick. As a starter, fade. Don't start Benteke. I don't care how good the matchup is or this or that. He's not worth starting. His floor is so low, but his ceiling is so high. He's the most boom bust player in this game. I think as a bench play, he is a great pick, and I think you should take him. Do not start him. Do not start him. Insigne, probably fade. Some people might look at the raw numbers this last week and be like, wow, Insigne's breaking out. No, I mean, Bernardeschi didn't play. If they're together, Insigne's still decent, but Bernardeschi's been the far better. So Insigne was killer this week. But if Bernardeschi's playing, don't take Insigne. Cucho, I really like this week. I think he's a good pick. Let me look at Columbus's matchups real quick. So they're hosting SKC. Ooh, I like that matchup a lot. And then they're going to Inter Miami. I think he's a great pick. I really like those matchups. There's a lot of good forward options this week. And then Buanga is great too. We've had 2 or 3, or I think just 2. I think there's this game in St. Louis. Maybe there was a game against like Charlotte or something, or I don't know. But Buanga's had 2 or 3 really good away games now. I think we can upgrade him to not being bad on the road, but just being inconsistent. If he's on the road, then as a bench play, he's elite. I think he's a great pick this week. LAFC's matchups are really good. They're playing Austin, and then they're hosting San Jose. Those are 2 bad defenses. Bad defenses. I really like Buanga this week. There are a lot of good forward options for sure this coming week. So that's pretty much going to do it for today for the tier list. In summary, I've got Acosta, Puch, Arango, Benteke, Cucho, Buanga in the great tier. We got Kalina, Aaron Herrera, Uranen, Evander, Jovic, and Leuven in the good category. Totland, Santi Rodriguez, and Bono I think are fun punts. Celentano, Berkey, Yedlin, Herrera, Mukhtar, Paintsel, and Bernardeschi are maybes. Maybe take a swing on them in your team. And then guys that I personally think y'all should steer clear of are Lloris, Yoshida, Lennon, Wagner, Almada, and Insigne. Thank y'all so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. If you did enjoy the video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. For every person who does so, Pancake does get an extra treat, and that's true. I do really do that. So please consider giving Pancake some treats. She really likes them. And thank y'all again so much for watching. Best of luck for picking your teams for the coming week. It's a double game week. Should be a lot of fun. Best of luck. Don't forget, even though I say do this, do that, and even though I was right about Jesus Ferreira this last week, took a lot of flack for that take, but I was right. Even though I was right, still go with your gut on all this stuff. Always trust your gut. Don't forget. And I'll talk to y'all again very soon.